All right, so Monday we started with here is your problem, you factored it, and then you solved, right? We got our answers, x equals blah, blah, blah. So today we're going to work it backwards. Here's the answers. What is a polynomial function with zeros, -3, 3, and 4? That means zeros are answers, right? Those are the answers. So now I want what polynomial did it come from? What was the original problem? So you're working it backwards. So if I have -3 as an answer, what parenthesis did that come from? Say that again. X plus 3. Right? Because if I solve that, you'd subtract that 3 over, you get x equals -3. Where does 3 come from? And where does 4 come from? Good, x minus 4. And all of ours always start out y equals, right? Because that's something we can graph. So first, we kind of look at the steps over there. Write a factor for each zero. The sign within your factor is the opposite of the sign of the zero. Because when I set those equal to 0 and solve them, they flip signs when I move to the other side. So we just flipped them back to put them back in. And then we're going to multiply these back together. This is what form? Factored form. Okay, this is factored form. For's got a mind of its own. That says factored, even though it may not look like it. My marker got fat in the middle there. So that's factored form. Every answer that I want from you guys should be in standard form. So we need to multiply that back together. Now, I can multiply in any order, right? Like if I asked you, what's 3 times 4 times 5? How could I multiply that? In your head without a calculator, what are you doing? Good, 5 times 4 is, and then what would you do? And then times by 3, and 60. But could I also go 3 times 4 is 12, and then times that by 5? Could I go 3 times 5 is 15, and then times that by 4? Yeah. But at any point, did you ever want to go 3 times 4 and then 3 times 5? That doesn't make any sense, right? You would never do that. So don't do that here. I have students all the time who are like, oh yeah, I'm going to distribute, and they multiply this to this, and they multiply this to that. That would be the same thing as going 3 times 4 and then 3 times 5 and then doing something with that answer. Okay, so we don't want to do that. I want to multiply 2 of them together, right? Like she said, let's do 4 times 5. She said that was 20. And it's like she brought that one down, and she multiplied those and got 60, right? Multiply 2 together, bring down the other one, multiply those together, answer. So that's what I'm going to do here. Now, just because I like how things flow a little nicer, I'm going to always start with my back 2. You don't have to. The way my work flows, it makes it easier for me to always multiply the back 2 first. Okay, so that's what, as I'm working through, that's what I'll always do. All right, so here we go. So x times x is x squared. X times -4 is -4x. -3 times x is -3x. And then -3 times -4 is a positive 12. Now, if you've ever cooked in a kitchen, what is easier, to clean as you cook or wait till the very end when everything is out and then clean? Clean as you cook. That's the easiest way, because then I'm putting things away as I'm like using them in the kitchen. When I'm done, I don't have this huge mess, right? You've obviously never cooked much if you think it's easier to clean at the end. So in other words, as we go through, please clean up your like terms as we go, okay? So we have x squared. My like terms gives me -7x plus 12. All right, so I multiplied those two. This one I've not used yet, so we're going to drop that one down. The same way I multiplied the 4 and 5 and got 20, drop down the 3, and then we multiplied those together. Now I'm going to multiply these two together. And the whole F word that I don't like to say, I know it's on my board, I'm sorry, but that's why I don't like that word, because now I'm multiplying 2 terms by 3 terms. So that ugly word doesn't actually make sense anymore. That's why I like distribute. So x times x squared is x cubed. That'll give me -7x squared plus 12x. And then we'll distribute the 3 all the way through. Gives me 3x squared minus 21x plus 36. And we put our like terms together. So y equals x cubed. We have negative 7x squared plus 3x squared. It's negative 4x squared. 12x minus 21x is negative 9x. And I have a plus 36. We always want to make sure our final answers are in standard form, which means they're all multiplied back together, and then we have all of our terms in the right order. X cubed, x squared, x, and then our final number. Whew. Hard? Not really. Tedious? Yeah, you bet. So I said you can check your answers. Grab your graphing calculator. Type in your answer. So hit y equals, and let's graph the answer that we just had right here. So y equals, clear out anything you got in there. X cubed, don't type it all as an exponent, minus 4x squared, minus 9x plus 36. And then hit graph. Depending on if you cleared your memory or what the person before you had going on, you may need to hit zoom 6 if it's not in the standard window. How does graphing my answer help me? Does anybody know? You're like, great, I got a graph. How's it help, Julia? Perfect. Where's it crossing the x-axis? It better cross at negative 3, 3, and 4. And it does. So if you get done with these problems and you graph them and it doesn't cross where it's supposed to, you messed up somewhere. Okay, and that happens a lot because honestly, there's a lot of pluses and minuses and collecting like terms and basic math, which I know some of us are a little shaky on sometimes. Like, please check your answers. Nothing kills me more when people bring them up and I'm like, that doesn't work. And you should have known that before you came up here and saw me. Okay, so when you get to this point, just real quick, type them in, graph them, double check, make sure it's crossing at the places where it's supposed to. Okay? All right, let's try the next one. What is a polynomial function with the zeros negative 5, 0, and 2? All right, so here we go. So y equals, where does negative 5 come from? Good, x plus 5. Where does 0 come from? Say that again. Baby brother. Yeah, there's my 0. Baby brother out in front. And then the 2? Good, x minus 2. What form is that? Factored. I cannot tell you how many times we will go through all these in class. We'll do more stuff with this tomorrow. And then it comes time for the quiz and somebody writes it and leaves it right there. At what point do I ever stop after one step of putting something in? I don't. So keep going. Again, I like to start with the back 2 when I multiply. So we'll multiply there and get x squared minus 2x plus 5x minus 10. Be a clean cook and collect like terms as you go. So x squared plus 3x minus 10. I have not used the x yet, so we'll drop him down. And then we get to distribute the x through the problem. So x cubed plus 3x squared minus 10x. There are no like terms. Everything's in the right order, so I am done. If you graph it, where should it cross the x-axis? Good, negative 5, 0, and 2. And if it doesn't, you did some wrong. Okay? Ooh, look at the next one. Why did I just go, ooh, there's 4. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Where are there 4 terms? Oh, number 7. The number of terms does not tell me how many answers I have. What tells me how many answers I have? The exponent, the degree. Since this is still x cubed, it's still 3 answers. No, I'm glad that you're starting to kind of make those connections. Yeah, number of terms doesn't matter. Because like I could have an x to the 6th that'll have 6 answers, but it could be x to the 6th plus 2. It could be like 2 terms. So number of terms doesn't matter for answers. All right, let's try to tackle number 9. It's got 4. All right, so here we go. So y equals, where does -4 come from? -3? 1? 4? All right. It's set up in factored form, but we always want them in standard. So here's a couple things, okay? You could multiply the back 2, multiply the front 2, and then multiply those 2 answers together. But I'm going to tell you right now, through all of my years of teaching this, people who do that mess up probably 95% of the time. Because you know what happens? They multiply the back 2, they multiply the front 2, then they add them together. I don't know why. They do it all the time. So I like to try to just stay consistent. I'm going to multiply the back 2. I'm going to drop the next one down. I'm going to multiply that one. I'm going to drop the next one down. So I'm just going to kind of keep going with that same pattern. Okay? That way I don't lose track of anything. All right, so starting with the back 2, we get x squared minus 4x minus 1x plus 4. Like terms, x squared minus 5x plus 4. All right, that next one I'm going to go ahead and drop down. And now I'm going to multiply those 2 together. But you see how I'm not bringing everything down with me? I'm just kind of bringing that next one down. Just kind of dealing with one thing at a time here. So we'll distribute here. We get x cubed minus 5x squared plus 4x plus 3x squared minus 15x plus 12. Like terms, we have x cubed. Negative 5x squared plus 3x squared is negative 2x squared. 4x minus 15x, negative 11x, and a plus 12. X plus 4 I haven't used yet. I'm going to go ahead and drop that down. And I'm going to cry a little bit because I still have another step to go. And we get to go again. So we get x to the 4th minus 2x cubed minus 11x squared plus 12x. Then we'll distribute the 4 plus 4x cubed minus 8x squared minus 44x plus 48. Isn't this fun? I knew you would be. Oh, I don't know, you look pretty happy, AJ. All right, so here we go. Final answer. What polynomial do those answers come from? Put all your like terms together. We have x to the 4th. Let's see, minus 2x cubed plus 4x cubed. It's positive 2x cubed. Negative 11x squared minus 8x squared is negative 19x squared. 12x minus 44x is a negative 32x, and then plus 48. I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to hit the point on that problem. I'm going to get to the end of that, and I'm going to go, I don't know if that's right. Right? Think about you're sitting up by yourself working through that problem. You're like, that was a lot. How easy is it to miss one sign? It's easy, right? Or you messed up one exponent. You forgot to write down the squared on something. So then it became a like term with something it shouldn't have. Grab your calculator. Let's type this in and let's see if we did okay. All right, so we're going to graph x to the fourth. Again, don't type it all as an exponent. Plus 2x cubed minus 19x squared minus 32x plus 48. Before you hit graph, make sure you type that in, right? It's nothing worse than you check your answer, but you think it's wrong because you typed it in the calculator wrong. Happens all the time. Hit graph. Does it cross at -4, -3, 1, and 4? I did. Because I'll be honest with you guys, sometimes we get these equations that have like numbers on the end, like that was a 48. I've seen it with like 192 or something on the end. And everybody's like, I messed up. But when you graph it, you're like, oh, yeah, it actually went through where it was supposed to. Okay, so please check these answers. All right, let me give you guys a couple minutes. I want you to do 10 and 11 on your own. Okay, 10 and 11. All right, guys, so hopefully 10 didn't seem so bad for you. So y equals 0 came from baby brother. Then we have x minus 1 and x minus 7. So multiplying those together, starting with the back, we get x squared minus 7x minus 1x plus 7. Like terms, x squared minus 8x plus 7. Bring down the x, and then we distribute. So we get x cubed minus 8x squared plus 7x. And that is what y equals. So double check yours. X cubed minus 8x squared plus 7x. That one wasn't too bad. Number 11 does have 4 answers, but one of them is 0, which makes it a little easier. So we know the 0 is baby brother. And we're going to have x plus 2, x minus 3, and x minus 5. So that should have been your setup. And then I'm going to start with the back. So we get x squared minus 5x minus 3x plus 15. Like terms, x squared minus 8x plus 15. If you're somebody who is like not cleaned up like terms, I know a couple of you have kind of done that, you multiply a lot more pieces together. You get a lot more things to put together. So if you clean up as you go, it kind of keeps it a little more compact. So drop down the next one, the x plus 2. And then we multiply here. So x cubed minus 8x squared plus 15x plus 2x squared minus 16x plus 30. So like terms, we have x cubed. It's going to give me negative 6x squared minus x plus 30. All right, bring down baby brother. And then distribute him through. So y equals, we're going to have x to the fourth minus 6x cubed minus x squared plus 30x. And then we can graph it and make sure it actually goes through where it's supposed to. Whew. How did we do? Okay? Today's not bad, right? It's just tedious. It's tedious. You miss one sign, it's all wrong. One basic math error, all wrong. That's why I'm really glad this is one that you can check as you go. But if you're somebody who's too lazy to check, I don't know what to tell you. I mean, if you're too lazy to plug in a Chromebook, you know. All right.